Hi everybody, Dumelang. It's been a minute. It's been more than a minute since I last posted a YouTube video. And it's just because I've been so wrapped up with other things and my other businesses that I honestly haven't had the time. But a friend of mine, her name is Neo, she pushed me and she was like, "Us kopa DVD, kopa content." And I was like, okay, let's go for it. And this is me giving you that content. So So if you remember, how to grow your marriage, right? And I'm still married. So that's the topic for today. But the topic is, and I got this from Neo. So shout out to you, Lala. I love you so much. Neo Khwatli, follow her. So she gave me topics that she would love me to talk on. And out of those, I chose confrontational skills in marriage because wow, wow, confrontation is something that happens whether you're married, with your siblings, with your mother, with your father, anybody. It happens, right? And it's a bit more complex when it happens in the home setting, because in the home with a husband and a wife, there is a hierarchy and there is a way to handle conflict, which might be different. Oh, that's Khanya. Which might be different from how you would handle it with your sibling or a friend. So, I'm gonna go through. I think this is gonna be in parts because this is a really, really deep topic. And I don't want to rush through the pointers because kishiblina koya the video, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it in parts, and this is the first part. This is part one: confrontational skills in marriage. So words in no particular order, please, in no particular order. These are skills that I have learned within my own marriage and things that my husband and I have put into play, whether we verbalized it, whether it's just something that we've just naturally agreed to do, because it helps us reach resolutions, right? Because that's the objective of having a confrontation or an argument, is not to leave it up in the air, but it is for you and your partner to find a solution or get to an understanding. Okay. So, confrontational skills, the first one I noted, and these are all personal to me, they might not work for you, you might not agree, and that's okay. It's part of confrontational skills. You might not understand my confrontation. So, number one, never get used to having noise when you are speaking with your partner. So this can be outside noise. For example, this can be the noise of a TV when you are discussing something quite heated and you're not agreeing. Learn to switch off devices and talk to one another without distractions. And the other noise is you personally being loud. Like, don't shout, don't scream. You only make the situation worse. So naturally, I talk loud, but I can well talk. I've learned to like, hi baby, how are you? You know, keep it softly, and I've seen that it allows him to feel safe rather than me always being high pitched, the way I would with my friends. So even when we talk, I try my best not to be too loud, you know. So even when we are maybe having a disagreement, I get rase, I get rase, ke bua hantle, you know. The minute you start going up the person you're talking to also wants to go up, and then that ends up in a screaming match, and then you end up not hearing each other. So always try and practice it, like practice how you feel or your voice wants to go woo, 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 and then you're like, hey, come down, baby, talk nicely, there's no need to shout, right? This person can hear you. Number two, decide how you disagree. So, I noted that your ways to end up, like also discussing how to end a conflict, and if you do not, what then, right? So decide how you disagree. Um, in my situation, we've even gotten to the point where our disagreements feel like a conversation, because yeah, we don't want it to be almost like, no, but yeah, but no. So the same way re buang when you're happy, continue with that energy when you are feeling sad or you are feeling misunderstood by your partner. And also agree gore na, for me, or actually not agree, but communicate what are your triggers in a conflict. So, what would make you end up the ante within the conflict? Is it somebody who is going to ignore you? Is that a trigger for you? Is it somebody who, once you are talking, um, they just talk over you? What are those triggers? Write them down so that you know, "Hore, this I can't," like it makes it even worse in that situation. So know your triggers, discuss them, let your partner know, "Hore, I do not like one, two, and three, and I do not appreciate when we are having a disagreement when you do A, B, and C," right? So talk about it, because that's the only thing you can do. Talk. Talk in your marriage. If you don't talk, you will always have confrontation, regular as a norm, right? Because you never talk about the actual method of the confrontation. Then, what is a way for you to end the conflict? So, we're still on that point, right? So, usually, what my husband do, we will talk and we will hash out what we're talking about. And if we don't agree, we usually make sure that both of us have something that goes in their direction, not direction, but for example, let's say I want to have pizza and he wants to have ribs for dinner, right? What we would then usually do is, okay, no, it's fine. We can have pizza today and ribs tomorrow, right? So both of us, even though today I feel like something today, but we learn to compromise and to make sure that each person has a win in that situation. So he wins, I win, we both win, we happy, right? It's not a competition. I'm not competing with my partner, and he shouldn't feel like he needs to compete with me. And if we don't reach that win-win, then what we usually do, and advice I would give to you is already like, don't force. Don't force for a solution. Rather say, can we talk about this tomorrow? Or can we set time to actually think about this before we talk about it? Because usually you are clouded by the drama or whatever is happening in that moment, and it might be clouding your understanding of the situation, right? And because because you're not shouting at each other, it's not a, like, you don't feel bad about saying, okay, no, let's finish this off tomorrow. It doesn't mean gore, you are ignoring it, but you are just putting time to think, and you communicate that, listen, can we rather talk about this tomorrow? I'm not really understanding it, let me think on it. And be very intentional with the words you use. Don't say, I don't feel like talking about, I don't want to talk about it now. No, you articulate, Like communication, guys. Communication. Then let's move on to the next one. That's why I said this topic is so deep and it's so big. Like we can't do it in one video. Now the third one is learn how to phrase your points. Ne? Learn how to phrase what you want to say. Like this is actually a thing. Like learn how you want to speak to your partner, right? Do you want to speak to your partner with respect? Do you want them to hear you, or do you want to talk down to them? So there's differences in how you speak to somebody, right? So learn how to phrase what you're gonna say. So now I'm a girl from Free State. There are certain things for me, because back home that's how I was taught. Certain things you don't say to people, like certain things you don't phrase them in a certain manner because it's rude, right? So for example, if I'm talking to my partner and we are having maybe a conflict, I would never use words like "Mara wena wa mbora" or "wena wa bora." Like, no. Like such phrasings and such words and choice of words, it just escalates the situation and it just makes the other partner feel not heard, because you are literally just belittling them with the words that you use. So learn how to phrase. So rather just say, "Oh, my love, sometimes I feel like we don't understand each other." And that's not a bad thing. Like, it's really good to tell somebody you feel misunderstood, because then they are able to unpack and ask you, but what are you trying to say? Ne? Do not speak in any tone. Don't just speak in any tone. Tone is everything. Like tone, but tone. I can say to my husband while we're having a disagreement, I can say to him, listen, I I hear you. No? And then I can say, babe, I hear you, my love. You know? Always the same way you speak to your partner when you're happy. Keep that tone even when you are feeling agitated, right? Do your best. Oh, continue with "Oh, my love, my babe." Sky all of a sudden now, hey, Tabo, but you never call Tabo. You always call him babe, my love. But today when ukwatile say Tabo. Yawn. Yawn. Literally like nah, I continue, hey my love, but that's how I talk even when we are having a disagreement, right? um Learn your tone, learn your partner's tone, and make them aware also, because at times the partner might not be aware. When you speak to me like this, it comes off to me as this, right? So be very open to say, love, I can hear you. Like I hear what you want to say, but the tone is like decoding it for me, right? And that works, guys. Like, do that. Do that. Like, be very frank, but in a gentle way. Like, be gentle with your partner. Don't take disagreements as a chance for you to shine. If you feel you have to shine in your relationship, you in the wrong relationship, right? And your partner has to be below you, you're in the wrong relationship. And then, yeah, then number 4. Ooh, this one, ladies, majority of us do this, and I don't know why, but we do this. Do not use low blows when you are talking with somebody. Low blows are different to each and every one of us, but the fact remains, do not speak words to hurt, to break, to demean, to damage somebody. Those words will never, ever, ever be taken back, right? So build your vocabulary, guys. If you have to Google, build words, go Google, look for proper words to explain how you're feeling. Do not just speak death over your partner. Do not use past situations in the now, because if you had addressed it in that situation, you wouldn't need to bring it up again, right? Um, Low blows are demeaning. You wouldn't also like it. So, whatever is happening, whatever you are talking about, be as conscious of the words you use. I've heard people say, "Ooh, maro, ooh, wena, what's that? Asifela, familia is alright, jo." You know, like, jo. That's a low blow. There is no need to go there. The only reason people go there is because they're struggling to win, right? And this comes with somebody who feels sorry. An argument is a competition between the both of them, and they have to win, right? And you can't win in a relationship. Both of you have to win. Don't go for low blows. They're very cheap, they're very tacky, and they would damage your marriage or relationship in a way that you will never ever ever be able to bring it back to before. And I repeat again, the way you behave when you're happy, act the same even when you are not feeling your happiest, right? Um Important to note, the objective of an argument or a disagreement is not to win. If the objective is to win, you're going to both lose. The objective is to create a space of understanding, create a space of interaction where you unpack and you have the time to unpack, right? Then the last one for this part, you will forget the last one. It is, and this one, I believe it's very obvious, but some people don't do this in their relationships. And this is learning to say sorry. And not just, oh, sorry, but I am sorry for one, two, and three. Listen to each other, like literally learn to say, oh, I am so sorry, and mean it. Like, don't just say sorry because you're trying to manipulate the person into moving on, right? You say sorry, you learn to say sorry, and you behave like somebody who's remorseful, né? And whether or not you were in the wrong or the partner was in the right, and guys, be catch me, I'm not speaking about fidelity and all of those deep stuff. No, 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 those are a different approach. What I'm talking about is a basic argument within the home, the basic, right? And these will actually even help you to manage a bigger fallout or a bigger issue, because now you will have the basic from the simple fight in the house about why are you leaving your clothes on the floor, why you already. That will teach you how to manage. My love, you know what, when you leave the clothes on the floor, it makes it very difficult for me to tell the kids to not leave their clothes on the floor because they see their dad doing it, right? Now you are learning how to speak properly with your partner, you know. So learn to say I am sorry, and also learn how to forgive, truly, truly, truly. And to forgive means that you move on, right? And it's difficult to move on if you are not having the conversations for you to be able to move on, right? So when you are making noise, when you're shouting at each other, when you're speaking low blows, when you don't know how to have an argument with your partner, you literally will not move on. And it's difficult to forgive when you haven't moved on, right? So when you are in a relationship and you wanted to grow, just know there will be situations of conflict, but knowing how to have a disagreement is important. So I hope this has really helped somebody. I know I didn't go deep, 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 and I didn't refer to any readings or studying, because these are mine and my husband's tools that we have developed over the years of us being together. And these have worked for us because when situations escalate, we know how to de escalate them as a couple, and not one person only knowing, but we both do it together. So, I will do a part two. God be with me to have the time. Or I will do it after this one, actually. Yeah, why don't I do it after this one? Clever girl. So, yeah, so those are my tips on how to build your confrontational skills within a relationship, a romantic relationship with your partner, your husband, so, or your wife. So, what I ask of you, let me know what are your thoughts in the comments section. Let me know what do you think about these pointers, if any of them resonates with you and if you've used them and what has happened. Like, let me know, because I am not the love guru, I'm not the relationship guru, but I love sharing what I know, because what I know is what I know, and what I know is things that have worked for me. And yeah, so that is it from me. Remember to be kind, to be great. I even forgot my tagline, but I just remember I used to say, be you. I think that's what I used to say. Be you. And I wish you all a beautiful afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. And yeah, that is I, Tata Tatum Makuvele Akani. So have a beautiful day and peace and love.